Come with me. Bask in freedom. There are no deadlines here. Hurry so you can take your time. The sunset from above. A visual buffet. Pictures capture moments. 100 conversations don't exhaust the tale of your new favorite filter. The salt of the sea warm on your dark skin.
I'd love to come back here.
A truly immersive experience is our reality. South Africa invites you to summer with us. Create your own story with customizable experiences now. Visit southafrica.net. It's never too late to summer in SA.
Never met a man quite like you, doing all he can, making my dreams come true. You're strong and you're smart. You've taken my heart, and I give you the rest of me too. You're the perfect man for me. I love you, I do. I love you. Never felt quite like this. Good about myself. From my very first kiss.
All right, so 21 minutes to hit 8 o'clock. It's a beautiful Friday morning. Today is the 29th of September 2023. I've got him right here with me. His name is Dr. Elliot Cranton Tano. He's a nephrologist. He's a senior lecturer. And he loves kidneys. He wants to see kidneys in healthy states all the time. That's what he's always standing for. And oftentimes it's not easy to have him in the studios like this, but Charlie, for the love of what he does and the fact that he wants people to have healthy kidneys and stay healthy, alive and well and long, he always squeezes some time for us.
When you said he loves kidneys, you know what came into my mind?
You tell me.
The one in the stew.
Charlie, good morning once again.
Morning, David.
Trust
Morning,
you're
David.
well.
I'm good. And you?
Charlie, the Lord is my shepherd. I am well.
We thank God. We bless God.
And I'm happy that you're here. Because on Wednesday when we spoke, I had a bit of scare, you know. And I'm sure that I wasn't the only one who had a bit of scare. A lot of people had scares as well. Because, for example, you said there are people who, through no fault of theirs, get kidney issues. And you mentioned pregnant women, for example. So I was damn sure that a pregnant woman would be like, what is he talking about? You know. So we'll be getting there. But listeners, listen. If you know somebody who is listening to some music somewhere or listening to some program somewhere that is not of benefit to him or her, tell the person to tune into Love 99.5 right now. Because, listen, this conversation is supposed to help us all take very good care of our kidneys, to stay healthy and to stay longer. Now, one key part of treating persons with kidney problems is the use of dialysis with its consumables. And for those of you who do not know about the consumables, we'll be talking about them as well. So we get to appreciate and understand what the issue is all about. Now, on Wednesday, we had a conversation with Dr. Tano on the phone lines. And it was as a result of the fact that at the time we heard that Koli Bu had increased dialysis treatment to 765 from 380. But fortunately, we hear that they rescinded that decision, so it's now back to 380 from the 765 that they pegged it at. Meanwhile, at Comfort Teaching Hospital, we know that for somebody who is having kidney problems, you would have to pay 300 Ghana cedis, and then you go outside to look for the consumables to buy. And the consumables, we're told, is pegged around 200 Ghana cedis. And then, so it's put together, 500 Ghana cedis. And for somebody who's battling kidney issues, you need dialysis 3 times a week. Just that is to clear your kidneys for you, to clear your kidneys. You need it 3 times a week. So which means that it amounts to 1,500. All right. So if a week is 1,500, so cumulatively a month will be like 6,000 Ghana cedis. So question is, how many of us can raise 6,000 Ghana cedis continuously every month just to have our kidneys clean for us? So as we speak, if you're alive, your kidneys have been cleaned by God's natural way for you, give praise and thanks to God. Why? Because those who unfortunately are battling kidney problems, they have to cough out 6,000 Ghana cedis a month to get their kidneys cleaned. But government has also, removed taxes, exemptions, things that would have made it easier for people to have brought in these consumables and all. It has been removed. So people are paying huge sums of monies for the consumables. And that's one of the reasons why, kidney treatment is quite high. So I asked this morning, how can government help people who are battling kidney issues to have some bit of relief so they can manage their situation better? How can government help? Any ideas? I'm sure you have an idea or two. Share with us your ideas, your thoughts as to what you think government should do, can do to help people who are battling kidney issues to have some relief. I have been saying this from Wednesday that we still pay COVID-19 levy, some 1%. More COVID-19 is no more. So it's asking to fight what COVID? To fight what exactly? So why don't we say, for example, that we're converting that COVID-19 levy into some kidney something levy, so we can use that to support the treatment of kidneys in Ghana? That's my thought. That's my contribution. What's yours? Like I said, you can join us with your thoughts on 055-11-11995. That's our WhatsApp number. So record a voice note and send it in. If you have kidney issues or you know somebody who is battling kidney issues, how is the person surviving? What's the story you can share with us? Share that story with us also on our WhatsApp number, 055-11-11995. As I speak right now, we are live on Facebook. And for those of you who do not know how a dialysis machine looks like or how a dialysis machine works, if you join us on Facebook, you get to see a dialysis machine. You get to see the consumables and how it's applied in treating somebody with kidney problems by way of the cleaning. And Dr. Chano here will run us through the process. So join us on Facebook on LUV 99.5 FM and also drop comments there as well. So Doc, to start off, do we have an idea as to how common kidney issues or diseases are in Ghana, or to be specific in Kumasi, our Ashanti?
Okay, so thank you very much. So indeed, we actually have some national data. I think I would talk about that one, where we know that kidney disease basically is more common than people think it is. And our data shows that about 13.3% of Ghanaians have some form of kidney disease.
13.3%
So,
of Ghanaians,
yes,
have some form of
kidney disease.
Wow.
If I work out the math, let's say assuming a population of let's say 31 million or so, that comes to about 4 million people having some form of kidney disease.
Wow.
And I say this with data backing it, in the sense that yes, it's not all of these people who would end up going onto dialysis. But if you are one of these people and you probably are not aware and you don't check your kidney functions, you don't look for why it was so to be able to revert it, then I'm afraid with time you become one of those who need the dialysis. So there are various stages of the kidney disease, but nonetheless, the only ones who will need it is when they get into the last stage or the end stage or the kidney failure. No, chronic is a term when you've had kidney disease for 3 months. So what I can say is that you can have chronic kidney disease and still be able to live for 10 years, 20 years, not requiring dialysis.
Okay.
I have an old man, anytime he comes to my clinic, I get so excited to see him because from 2016, somebody referred him to me because they thought he was going to require dialysis. And he's still alive, because he got to know what the problem was, and we just keep reviewing him and making sure that things are the way they are supposed to be. And up till now, in fact, the last time I reviewed him was about a month or so ago, he's still stable. So though he has chronic kidney disease, he does not have kidney failure.
Listeners, are you taking note of that? And I'm happy to hear this because, again, I got the privilege and the honor to MC your book launch.
Yes.
And
we are so grateful.
and there was this pastor who came in there.
That's right.
Who gave a testimony.
That's right.
Of how he has survived kidney issues.
Yes.
Through your help.
Yeah.
And he's looking healthy, bubbling with a lot of energy. How long has he been battling the kidney issues?
Indeed. I mean, in fact, he blew my mind. I was not expecting. In fact, when I sent him the invitation, he told me he might not be able to make it because he's such a big man. And he surprised me. I was even surprised to see him in the crowd. And not that alone, he decided to speak. Most people with kidney disease would not like to talk about their story. But he decided to speak about it because he appreciated, the little work that we did for him. But then that is the good news of it, in the sense that it is not always bad. But it becomes bad if we ignore the key things that we are supposed to do to prevent it. So he came on admission. Yes, he knew. In fact, he actually would tell me he was about dying. And he remember when he woke up, I was he calls me an angel. When he woke up from his coma, I was the first person he saw. And I looked like an angel, he said. And he's ever since been so grateful because he knows that he would have gone. So people get, yes, some insults to their kidney, and sometimes it runs into chronicity, but depending on how we manage it, we keep them there. If he didn't tell you he had kidney disease, would you have assumed he did? But he does. And that is what makes that huge number that I mentioned, that a lot of them are walking in our streets and they are fine. But then there are some people who would not do anything about it, like probably, he did, and so be able to revert what is going on. And I think that is why we always need to have this conversation, because I believe that when we have this conversation, people will get to know the basic things that they need to do, so that even if we have a few who end up being on dialysis, then we can, pull government's legs to be able to fund them totally. But then if we are all living aloof and we are probably not taking care of ourselves, and a chunk of us are going on dialysis, it's expensive, and we are going to talk about some of the cost issues. Yeah.
But again, if you have any question about your kidneys and you want answers, Dr. Elotano Kranting is right here. He's going to give you all the answers you're looking for. But on Wednesday, when you mentioned that some people through no fault of theirs get the disease condition in terms of the kidney, and you mentioned the pregnant women, I'm sure that some women who are pregnant will be worried.
Yeah.
So question is, it tells me that there are different causative factors that brings diseases to the kidneys, right?
True.
So if that is so, let's start off with some of the causes, starting with pregnant women. What about a pregnant woman?
Okay.
Will let the kidney suffer?
All right, great. So pregnancy is, for me, some amazing physiology. And it all shows, the sovereignty of God for that to happen. But the key thing is that in the course of the pregnancy, typically when you are getting pregnant, you might not even know whether or not you have any underlying condition, i.e. hypertension or diabetes. But the beauty of how our healthcare system is structured currently is such that we make sure we check all of these things in the course of pregnancy. So I keep saying that women are advantaged because at least the system gets to take care of them. That is, those who get pregnant in a part of their life where we are able to check their blood pressures, check their urine, check this, check that. So we are able to pick some of these things. Men are disadvantaged because, one, of course, they don't get pregnant, and the mantra is, oh, me, I don't get sick, so I don't get sick, I don't get to the hospital. And then the first time you are seeing them in the hospital, they are getting something very deadly, and that's it. So now, by virtue of pregnancy and the fact that you have another human being, and the beauty of pregnancy is that human being that is within your belly as a woman is totally different from you. So sometimes they detect the pace for you. And that is why a pregnant woman will be vomiting and all, because the pregnancy is producing some hormones that is good for the baby, but might not be good for you. And that is why in the course of it, sometimes they are vomiting, they are feeling so sick, because now all of a sudden nature will begin to focus on the baby more than you.
No, they vomit because when the baby in the tummy passes bad air, the woman feels no. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But please go ahead.
All right. So interesting. All right. So the key thing is that these dynamics, women actually would have to, keep themselves going. If you keep vomiting, the fluid in your system drops. Your kidneys become disadvantaged. Your urine reduces. All of these things are minor insults to the kidney. In the course of it, normally it's typically in the second trimester, we call it, typically we expect that their blood pressures will be dropping. But immediately after, the blood pressures begin to rise. That is when we pick some condition we call preeclampsia. So pregnancy, where now you have hypertension and sometimes you have protein in your urine and all. That sometimes affects the kidney, it affects the liver, it affects your blood cells. So that's why I mentioned that it's just pregnancy. The woman just got pregnant. She wasn't sick, but because of the pregnancy and what is going on so far as that placenta is concerned, shoots that blood pressure up, causes some protein to go in the urine, and they get an acute kidney injury or they get some kidney disease. Now, the beauty of it is that because we are monitoring them, so please, when you get pregnant, go to the hospital. Allow yourself to be checked, because we check these things because we know they happen. And when we pick it, doctors will put you on medication to ensure that it doesn't damage, these organs. But nonetheless, if it happens to damage the organs, then the key thing is that if you are in hospital, we know what to do. We'll make sure that we take care of you, which would include sometimes you being on dialysis. But the beauty is that dialysis is not like chronic. We call that acute, in the sense that we probably will do it for a couple of days, maybe, and Then your kidney function bounces back. You start urinating nicely, and we discharge you, and then you go home.
Okay.
But if you are probably not attending the ANC, then chances are that we might not pick this. And that is why pregnancy was seemingly in those days as something that you get lucky to get out of it. Because of all of these things they go through. But because of health system now, at least we are able to mitigate all of these things along and to be able to prevent it. So that is why I mentioned the pregnancy
Okay, fine.
issue.
So for pregnant women, it was not to scare you; it is to help you, and it is something that is treatable. I mean, you heard doctors say, for example, that you'll be on dialysis for a couple of days, and that's it. It's not chronic. That's more like acute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about other causes of kidney, injuries or diseases.
Okay. Again, maybe from your preamble, which are not your fault, right? So let's start off with things that you are born with. So normally I would say that, when children are growing up and their parents are getting old, they start fighting over properties. Our parents have these number of cars and houses. I like this, I like that, I'm the oldest and all. But what I say is that we should begin to be mindful rather of the properties they've already put in us, i.e., if your father, your mother is a diabetic or is a hypertensive, chances are that they've actually given you the gene which might predispose you to hypertension or diabetes later in life. So let's be mindful of these properties they have given unto us, again, through no fault of ours, but because we are born in one family or the other. Kidney disease is also one, in the sense that there are some people who would have what we call polycystic kidney. So they are born, and with time, some fluid collection, we find some fluid collection in their kidneys. Now, it is not their fault. It's not because they were drinking alcohol or they were, living recklessly or not drinking water, like all of these things we'll be talking about later. But it's all because they were born in some family where their mother or their father or both of them had the condition.
And before we move on from the condition bit, on Facebook right now, we can see a dialysis machine. And, it's been labeled, so you get to see the various names and what they do and all that. So it's LUV 99.5 FM. That's how you can find us on Facebook. So watch the video on Facebook on the dialysis machine. All right, we'll come back to speak to it shortly. But so you landed on the condition, the fact that you've been born into a family.
Yeah. So with the polycystic kidney, we call it. So that we are able to pick it early, we tell you things to do to at least slow the progression. We know it will progress, but we'll slow it down. So depending, and normally I keep telling my patients that my hope is that yes, they have kidney disease, but that is not what will kill them. Because it is possible that you have kidney disease, but probably you get COVID and die, those times. Or you have kidney disease, you'll be knocked down by a car and die. So you would still live or die on a healthy kidney. And for me, that is my focus for most of my patients. Of course, if we run into trouble, then we'll have to go on to dialysis. So these are some of the conditions through no fault of ours. Now, the other one, which is through no fault of ours, typically is when you are born, let's say, premature, or you are born with a low birth weight. Now, there's a lot of evidence to show that low birth weight or premature babies are born and they don't have the requisite, accoutrement in terms of their kidneys to be able to function. So the small cells.
So what weight are we talking about here?
So typically, the normal weight is supposed to be about 2.5. So we allow up to, let's say, 1.5, 1.5, 2.5. Anything less than 1.5 is assumed to be, low birth weight. Okay, and the risk increases.
But the facility will tell you about the fact that because the baby was born preterm or born with a low birth weight, you'll be advised as to what to be mindful of and to be guided by it.
To be honest, from the beginning, it's actually about survival. Because if you are born low birth weight, sometimes they will end up being in MBU for some time and all of that. So it's survival. And what we forget is that, yes, now we put in a lot of effort to keep them alive. Then they become normal. But what we forget is that now they become more at risk of other things later in life,
including the kidney problems. And that's what I'm asking. So do the facilities inform parents about this? That listen, be mindful, be guided. This low birth weight and all the MBU things we did, and putting the baby in the incubators, blah blah blah, to help the child. This is what is going to happen to the child as the child grows. So be guided by, be mindful, do this and that and that. And
yes, so they try. They try to do, but again, it depends. So, kidney issue is actually, I keep saying, the neglected non-communicable disease. All right. So they will be mindful to tell you, okay, because you were born with low birth weight, probably you are at risk of, like I said, the immediate post-delivery of dying, of infections and all, kangaroo baby. They'll take you through all of that. And sometimes they might even let you know that there's a risk of a bit of mental issues here and there in terms of developmental issues here and there. But probably to think and mention critically that, kidney is one, I think because it's not really discussed. But again, you now need to know. So if you probably don't know your birth weight, or you don't know your whether you are premature, probably give your parents a call if they are alive, or go and check your card.
What other things? Because oftentimes people talk about alcohol. I know about some medications that could put pressure on the kidney and all that. You are the expert. What are the other things that put problems, pressure, and cause diseases for the kidney?
Okay, so I wanted to run slowly through the ones that through. So now we can talk about the ones that we are responsible for. Yes, a lot of alcohol is always a problem. Of course, moderate intake of alcohol is good, but where moderation
isn't moderation relative?
That is actually what I was coming to say. So when I'm saying it, I'm putting it in quotes because people, take advantage of that. So please, if you are not taking alcohol, don't start it. Because if you start it, you get addicted to it. Trust me, it's not just going to harm the kidneys. It's actually going to harm your liver, your heart, your brain. Virtually, alcohol messes up everything. It increases your risk of cancers and all of that. So alcohol is no good. Young man, young woman, don't let any colleagues make you feel any less of yourself because you are not joining them to take, alcohol. Yeah.
So be mindful of. What about?
But you have heard it now.
What about some medications?
So medication. So I'll start off from our medications. All right. So then when I veer into other medications, I'll probably have justification. So yes, we have some medications, antibiotics, painkillers, typically, that we take that can harm the kidneys. Yes. So typically when you have pain, when you go to your doctor, chances are that they'll write a painkiller for you to take for, 5 days, 7 days, depending. And it is very intentional. But now the person will say, after 5 days, I still have the pain, or sometimes they get addicted to it because it gives them some good feeling. So now they take the container and they keep taking it. And you have somebody who may have had some condition. And for the past 3 months, he always takes painkillers. I have a story of a patient who already had the polycystic kidney that I mentioned. Now he was getting headaches from the hypertension. And then he decided that, so for him, it was a mantra. After close of work every day, I get headaches. And he was taking painkillers. And those 3 combinations were knocking his kidneys down. The polycystic he had, the hypertension that was not controlled, and then the painkillers. So let's not just take painkillers without prescription, please. Indeed, there are some painkillers that are safer, for your kidneys. I won't mention any names. So speak to your healthcare provider. I think that's the most important thing. One, let us find out why the pain in the first place. Solve it than you being on painkillers, till
just to manage the pain.
Exactly.
But cure the problem.
Try to look for the problem and cure it if it's curable, hopefully.
Right.
But then even if it's not and you need to manage it with painkillers, there are some that are safer for the kidneys, and you need to know that. Or else
there are
you
people who go
up.
out there and say they're looking for stronger painkillers. This one doesn't help them.
And actually they know them. So when they go, they point the ones with, the muscles, and those are the ones, that are actually the killers.
No wonder, like the figures you gave, that roughly 4 million Ghanaians are living with problems with the kidney. And I'm happy with what you said, that if we're able to reduce that figure, then we can push government, because there are few people, the government can take it up and say, listen, we're helping people with kidney. So all this education is to help us all do the right things.
But Dave, what about those who sell drugs on the street?
That's what
I'll be coming there.
His passion is with herbal medicines, trust me. that I can attest to. That's why he intentionally began with the orthodox or the Bruni medicine. Let's not talk about the herbal preparations.
So
it is not to say the herbal preparations are bad. It is not to say herbal preparations are bad. There are some that are creating problems.
I was even talking about those who sell the orthodox medicines,
the painkillers
on the streets. Never buy those things. Never do those things. In fact, I have a patient.
There's a person at a pharmacy.
Exactly. And sometimes they are expired drugs. Sometimes, they are drugs that have not gone through FDA approval. They've just come through the borders. And never get to a pharmacist, a good pharmacist. And indeed, when you get to a good pharmacist, sometimes they will even tell you they will not give you that antibiotic you are asking for because you don't have a prescription. That is the place we should go to. But unfortunately, again, people would rather use the other sites and just get what they want. And that's why I'm advising you. If you keep taking these things, you keep harming your kidneys, and eventually now dialysis might become what you need to survive.
Become a bedfellow. Let's talk about the herbal preparations.
The herbal preparations. Thank you. All right. So, yes, I'll start off. Yes, herbal medicine, indeed. There's a herbal medicine department, KNUST, where they try to regularize, the use of herbal medication. So it is important that we realize that, yes, there's some good in herbal medications. But nonetheless, a lot of the herbal medications that we see out there, one, have not been regularized or they've not gone through the processes, and they are selling all sort of things. Now, the key thing is that, yes, we know that probably it might be as potent as they say it is. But the key question I ask myself is that after the potency, because in medicine, the moment you say something is potent, it also means that it has a risk of side effects. So you cannot say something is very potent, but meanwhile, it doesn't have any side effect. So you say, okay, I have nuclear weapon, which can, kill my enemies. But at the end of it all, if there are some friends in there, it will not kill them. It doesn't work that way. So as you throw those missiles to be able to deal with whatever you want to sleep with the 10 women or the 100 women with those aphrodisiacs and all of that, mindful that yes, it will get you what you want, maybe, but then afterwards, most of these medications are cleared by the kidney. Now, if they keep harming the kidney, so let's say small jabs every time you take them, over a period of time, you decrease the strength of your kidneys. And normally what I say is that the kidney is like a mobile phone that we use, in charge your mobile phone. So now if I look on my phone now, it's about 92% because I just, pulled it off. If I don't look at it, I don't know it's 92, right? That's how the kidneys work. So with time, you need to know where you have gotten to in terms of your function. If you are not able to do that, then what is going to happen is that it might reduce or keep reducing because you are doing some of these things we are discussing, which gives you small jabs. And then the key thing is that your phone will be quiet. It will not say anything until it gets to 20% or 10%, and it tells you to charge.
Then you hear the clink.
Then clink. That is exactly how the kidneys work. When the clink comes, so far as the kidney is concerned, it means that you are in stage 5, for which you probably will be needing the dialysis to survive.
Wow.
So let's not wait for the symptoms. I don't know. You might be in the 4 million people that we mentioned, but you might not know. And again, because you go to work, and I hear all the time, oh, this man has been fine, until we thought he had malaria. By the time we assess, and as per the things that we see, we can tell categorically that he has probably been going on for the past 2 years without your knowledge.
More.
Or more.
But again, from all that you've said, Dr. Elliott, tells me that it is treatable. It is even to some extent, if picked up early, curable. Now, for us to be able to treat it well or cure it means that we need the right inputs. So the consumables, the dialysis machine, and all the other things that comes along with it. How well positioned are we as a nation when it comes to the materials, the accoutrements, let me borrow your words, that we need to fight, treat, cure, kidney problems?
All right. So, in curing kidney problems, I mean, if we come from the blocks, basically, you need a good health workforce. So there are very few nephrologists in Ghana. That's actually also a big problem. Maybe one day we can discuss it. And if you don't have the right people in the right places to be able to see and pick these things we are talking about to make it look all good, chances are that they will be present. I get all that all the time. Diabetes, hypertension are the biggest causes, of kidney disease, in our part of the world for the older people. Now, you cannot, as a healthcare provider, be seeing a diabetic or probably somebody with hypertension at age 25, 24, and not check the kidneys. Because these conditions, we know clearly that they affect the kidneys. So now we train a lot our doctors to be able to know that, listen, wherever you are, encourage that patient, even if they don't have money, and you are seeing them for diabetes, at least once in 3 months, once in 6 months, once in a year, check their kidney function, know where they are, and be able to, at least as you manage their diabetes or their hypertension, you probably can refer them early so we can take care of the kidneys if need be, or you be guided by how you can take care of the kidneys. Now, a bit of telemedicine I try to do because we've trained a couple of people out there. So when they are seeing these patients out there and they run into some trouble, they call you, Dr. Tano, listen, I have a patient, and you discuss through it. So sometimes they don't need even to be referred to the teaching hospitals, and they can do a few things and they keep things at bay, and we are getting some good results from there. So the key thing is that, yes, you need the health workforce, but if we don't have it, we task shift, which also helps. Then, of course, when you run into trouble, or before you run into, you need good medicines. Now, diabetes medication, hypertension medications, and some of the kidney medications that help are not really available. So there are some things that sometimes know that when you're able to prescribe for your patient, it will help them to prevent the progression. Even if it's available, they cannot buy it.
Why are they not available?
Because So now, one, they are not available because they need to go through processes through FDA to be available. And then again, I mean, we have very good pharmaceutical companies that will make them available. So there's a current drug that we talk a lot about that we know that if you are diabetic or you are not even a diabetic and you are given that medication over a long period of time, it prevents you from progressing. But even if I have so-called rich patients, they come, oh, doc, right, we'll buy. And then they buy for 2-3 months, doc, but the point is that you benefit when you take it over a long period of time. You actually don't benefit if you probably take it for 1 month, 2 months, and you stop. So even if it's available, it is very expensive and they cannot afford it. And of course, then it increases, the chance. So that's, again, making sure that essential medicines are available is key. And then, of course, I mean, your key thing, the dialysis itself.
And the consumables. So Joel, let's go back to it right now on Facebook. And then, so take 2 minutes and run us through the machine, because it's on Facebook. Tell us about it. The consumables that are needed, how the cleaning is done, what it does to the person who's having the kidney problems and all that, because that is the finite area in terms of the treatment. So yes, on Facebook, let's do this. Joel, so here we go.
All right. So if, as you can see, we have the machine, and probably not bother you with all the technical details on the machine itself. We'll talk about the consumables now. You can see there are some lines, there are red lines that red line that you see the blood pump. That blood pump connects to a tube that is red. That tube that is red is what we call the blood lines. And indeed, what happens with dialysis is that we take your blood through one access and then we bring it out into the machine. We clean it. So now that pump is actually pumping it into the machine, and the machine will clean it and give it back to you. And it goes,
the entire blood in your system?
So it's a process. So it takes probably a chunk of it and then cleans it and then gives it back to you. So your first pool of blood would fill that tube. Okay, so that tube happens to be, let's say, about...
Please go ahead, Doc.
I'm sure I need to invite people to come and see how this thing works. All right. So it takes that blood, it goes through the tube, and then it gives it back to you. Okay. And it's a process, it's a cycle, right? And that cycle is a slow process because, one thing about the body is that if you do anything in a rush, you create problems for the body. The body needs to adjust slowly. And that is why we as human beings, we need to believe in process, so I'll say young men want to make it big overnight. There's nothing like that. It's a process. And this is a process. So it's slow. And that is why ideally it should go for about 4 hours. All right.
So one session is like 4 hours.
4 hours. So you'll be on the machine, and indeed they are lying down. They are a bit bored. So normally we have them watching television and sometimes chatting amongst themselves and all, just to while away time. And it's really a process. If you do it too quickly, afterwards they feel very sick and all of that. So that we try to be very careful how we do it, and we are able to regulate the pressures that we use. If your blood pressures are not good, I'll have to go down on the pressures. If your blood pressures are good, we probably can do more. It depends on your body size also. If you are big or you are small, we regulate all of these things. Now, these tubes are what we call the blood lines. Now, the fluid that is that cleans the blood is what we call the dialysis. Now, the key thing is that because the kidney cannot do all the things it does, you need some fluid to be able to correct your acid levels which are built up. So at least you don't die. So those blood lines...
And listeners, as he talks, please join us on Facebook. You are listening to us on radio. You are listening and you're like, But when you see it for yourself on Facebook, then you get to appreciate it. So, listen, join us on, LUV 99.5 FM on Facebook. So you've heard about dialysis machine. Maybe you don't know how it works. Today, we're showing you samples of it, how it functions and all that. So join us on Facebook and drop comments as well. And when you do this, listen, you would appreciate God.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking.
You will appreciate God. This is done by God for us, free of charge. Every day we just get up, we drink, we eat, we do all manner of the way, Yakoba.
And pee.
And pee. And God is doing it for us for free.
For free, yeah.
Now you have to cough out 6,000 a month.
So that there's a fluid that he's hung there, and because we don't want any air to enter your blood, she has to do what we call the priming. So she will make sure that there's some normal saline in the tube I showed you. So when your blood is coming in, there will not be any air. The moment I have a drop of air in the tube, it's actually going to cause harm to the patient.
Does it
So
happen
the-
sometimes? Does it happen?
there are a lot of mechanisms in the machine to ensure it doesn't happen, and there are beeps and all of that would ensure it doesn't happen. So
Even the air that we breathe to keep us alive.
no, the air goes to where it needs to go to. But then when the air gets into your vessel, air does not get into your vessel. If air gets into your vessel, we call that air embolism. That is a killer.
Let me just
Indeed, if you watch movies, sometimes you can just draw, air. Well, I shouldn't say this on radio.
Because it kills.
On TV. Yeah.
It can kill you.
All right, so I shouldn't say this on
No.
TV because
It can kill-
else people would, yeah.
People can use it to kill.
So these are what he's holding are actually the tubes that he's connecting, and these are the tubes which would eventually, and we actually use red and blue to show which one is coming from your body and which one is going back into your body.
Help me with this. And listeners, I appreciate the conversation on Facebook on LUV 99.5 FM. But these are consumables that when they are used, they are thrown away. We don't reuse them, do we?
Exactly. So virtually everything she's holding will be discarded. So after the use for one patient, you throw everything away. You have to rinse the machine and all of that before you put the next patient on. Then the next thing is that when you are done, in the course of it, like I said, there are regulators to ensure there's no air. And all of the things that you see on that screen are all the petty regulations that we do. So dialysis is actually a specialized area. And indeed, in most places, if you don't have an attending nephrologist or somebody there to guide them sometimes around, we run into even more troubles there.
Eugene.
So, and then there's something white where her hand is. That's what we call the dialyzer. Okay, yes, on that left. All right, or on the right.
On her right, yeah.
So that's a dialyzer. That is actually what technically is the kidney.
That white thing there.
That white thing there, that white longitudinal thing, cylindrical there, is what we call the dialyzer. So when the blood comes through, what the body does not want, it will go through the other tube and it goes out, and then the rest of the blood goes back into the patient.
Long process. Long, crazy.
And
rough
all
process.
of these things, when we use it for one person,
You discard them.
we discard it. We
So
don't
why
use
we
it, and that's what
we
make
don't
the
produce
cost.
them in Ghana, do we? They're
We
consumables.
don't. Everything is imported.
Can't we produce them?
I think we can.
Why? So why are we not producing them?
I'm not sure I can answer that.
You should try. I beg you try. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
David, do you know when he was speaking, you know one thing I picked up, I like numbers. He said that one patient takes at least 4 hours.
Yeah.
So what that means is that if you don't check your lifestyle in a day, at most they can attend to 3-4 people. Right? 4 people is 16 hours, and the hospital do not work 247 or.
Yeah. So the key, it depends on the number of machines you have.
Okay.
So we can actually have
in
a tape.
Kumasi, how many do we have?
So
Wednesday, you mentioned it on Wednesday when I asked you. So tell us.
So in
Not in Kumasi, in Kofanoche.
In Konfanoche,
cannot
we
speak
can
for
say. I
Kumasi.
cannot speak for other private. Yeah. So in Konfanoche, we currently have 2 functional machines.
Avazono.
David, that is Konfanoche, our biggest facility in the region. So that means that even if they are doing 16 hours per shift, that is at most 8 people in a day.
Yeah. So to be honest with you, it's just not enough. So we keep them now for those who come in inpatient, and even sometimes the inpatients we are not able to take care of all of them.
But Doc, the point is this.
Yeah.
Life is priceless.
Yeah.
We cannot put any price tag to life.
Yeah.
And yet, unfortunately, all the taxes that protected the importation of these things, if what we hear is right, have been removed. So, no tax exemptions for the importation of consumables and all that, which of course is adding to the cost.
It's adding to the cost. Apart from CD, that is.
Dancing Agbaja.
Yeah. So even if you take the tax component out, just by virtue, because we import all of these things, by virtue of the currency alone.
Not being stable.
Exactly. So it's been a long time since Kolebu adjusted their prices. So if as of that time the dollar was 6 cedis and now it's 12 cedis and now they are suggesting a doubling, it just makes sense.
It makes sense, yeah.
It makes sense. So it's a big
What do you expect
problem.
of government?
I think government can do more. I think government can do a lot more. And indeed, I'm working on a paper currently, and I probably will share it when it gets published, where I'm trying to make a case that, I don't think we can say we are not better than other countries like Kenya, Tanzania, which are East African countries. They are also low middle income countries. But I visited these places and they are able to offer 2 sessions of dialysis for their people
For
on
free?
insurance.
On
On insurance.
Okay.
We have a national health insurance scheme. So how come we don't even take care of, let's say, half the 4 hours, so to speak, or pay for? And again, I think I need to say this, we talk about the consumables and all. That is not the only cost that these patients bear, because the kidney helps you to make blood, and they also need regular injections. So for you to have a good quality of life, as you get yourself dialyzed, you still need medications. You still need injections to ensure your blood levels come up. And one of the things that affects their quality of life the most is when their blood level drops. They are easily tired and they cannot do anything. So their blood needs to come up. And those injections are also expensive. So you have some patients, they're able to go and borrow here and there to be able to just come do the dialysis. You ask them, can they get the EPO, which also adds to, their well-being? And they tell you they cannot, pay for it. And then you admit them because now their HBs have dropped to 6. And, so...
Are there occasions you have philanthropists coming through to help?
Sometimes we do. I mean, there was a time that there was this, I think it was an Ahmadiyya NGO that actually decided to bear the cost of dialysis for some people. All right. So once in a while we do get it. And indeed, I'm throwing it out there because I think it's really become a national problem. And with all of these discussions about increasing prices and all of that, the teaching hospitals try to do well. They do so well under the circumstance until they are pushed, like probably in the Korle Bu situation. I cannot understand the Korle Bu situation so well. Komfo has held on to the 300 and for a long time, which in my opinion,
how long has it been?
Oh, in fact, for the past, I don't even remember the last time. So probably for the past 5 years. About 5 years. 5 years. Yes.
You've held on to 300.
They've held on to
although
the 300.
The dollar has been dancing.
Although the dollar has been dancing, pan logo and stuff. And again, for me, we are not helping ourselves because I believe that if the institutions are charging their realistic prices, they'll be able to make them available. 2 months ago, they were complaining. People get to Korle Bu and they cannot get dialysis done because there were no consumables. The people need their money. They decide, okay, let us get the money to be able to get the consumables. You say, hey, what should we do?
So let's go into production of some of these consumables.
Fair enough.
If not all of them.
We are planning to assemble cars. We are planning to. So it all depends on where our priorities are. I don't think this is far-fetched.
Yeah.
We can do this.
When these same big men that we vote into power get the problem, they fly out.
They fly out.
Yeah. They fly out. Some of them can even buy the dialysis machine, buy the consumables and keep them in the home.
Maybe we don't have the technology to build the the computerized parts of but the tubes and the cylinders.
Those are the consumables.
Those are the ones that add to the cost.
Yeah, those ones I think we can do them.
Exactly. So in my opinion, yes, it's okay. Bring the machines down. That's fine. I mean, because there are good machines coming from places because you don't also want tubes. Yes.
0322083596 0322083597 0322083598. We have a science and technology care university. Charlie, some of these things research into them can produce But Doc, how do we keep the kidneys healthy? I mean, and before you answer that question for me, let's speak to Kofi Bedu, who's on the lines right now. Kofi, good morning.
Good morning, Dave. How are you doing?
Well, Kofi Bedu, good to have you, sir. Let's hear you.
My first question will go to Doc. I heard Doc saying that it's curable, but I've also been hearing from some other sources that it's not curable. So if he's saying that it's curable, I think he has to explain it a bit further. And also, I've been told that excessive thinking can also contribute to this, kidney disorder and all that. If also that is true, then a patient said to me that in 2016 thereabouts, he was paying less than 600. I mean, as to go through the dialysis, I mean, your blood cleaning and all that. At that time, he was paying around 600. But currently, he's going to pay more than 2,800 a month. This is unbearable. So I think we should listen to what the doctor is saying in order for us to avoid those harm that our disease will actually get contact to, and then we get better. So this is my question.
Thank you very much, Kofi. He says you say it's curable, it's treatable.
Yeah.
Explain. He wants you to explain.
Good. So we
started. You can still call us. Sorry.
Yeah.
Listeners, you can still call us on 0322083596, 0322083597, and 0322083598. What do you want to say to government? I mean, treatment for kidney issues are expensive. Yet their taxes that are placed on the importation of some of the consumables, making the treatment quite expensive. What do you want to say to government? How can government help? Because people, about 4 million Ghanaians have kidney issues. What are your suggestions? I'm thinking that the COVID-19 levy, you scrap it. You free on a kidney be living motion. You have more man for dementia. Maybe I don't know. But let's talk about Kofi Bedu's question.
Yes, so Kofi Bedu, we started the discussion from some points. I'm not sure where you got it from. So what I was saying is that the kidney disease, chronic, is in stages. Right. When you get to what we call kidney failure, for which you will be on dialysis, and we have determined that it's chronic, then I'm afraid it is not curable and you will not revert it and you need dialysis to survive. So I think that one I made it very clear. Okay. But what I mentioned is that there are some situations where something might happen to you and you get a kidney damage acutely. And I'm using the word acutely. That means it's actually happened for a couple of days or weeks or hours and all. So if we're able to see you early, that is curable, because afterwards bring your kidneys back to normal just as they were.
I don't know whether it's because it's a Friday, but we have another Kofi on the line. This time around, Kofi Edupoku. Kofi Edupoku, good morning.
Yeah, I'm speaking from Abidjan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, boss.
Yeah, in fact, Ghana, we must be very, very careful about our health. Health must not be discussed like buying commodity on the market. It's an essential commodity in our life. I suggest, like any other person has already suggested, it must be on national insurance. But the national insurance, as a token, is not adequate to suffice the management of the cancer. So at least if everybody is able to pay 50 cedis a year for health insurance to connect it to the cancer, and we have a management, special management on it to deal with the finance. That money must not go to the consolidated fund. It must go to the special account, and it must be managed by special people who everybody recognize that this man, this woman is genuine, so that the politicians must be taken away from that money. Thank you.
Kofi Edupoku, thanks very much for joining us with your thoughts as well. 03220-83596, 03220-83597, and 03220-83598 are our numbers. You can call us and make a contribution to our conversation about the kidneys. But I wouldn't want you to leave without telling us how, because you talk about the fact that some of the kidneys, we can revert them to normal. What do we need to do to get that done? And then generally, how do we protect our kidneys?
Yes, so I think the first is to start off with, one, what is the state of your kidney currently?
Get to know of it, yeah.
You should know. Like I mentioned, as I speak to you now, people know their shoe sizes. People know their waist sizes. What's the state of your kidney? I mean, the kidneys that would last you your lifetime, what's the state? We are in a habit. I mean, sometimes I keep saying that we play the ostrich, I mean, as a people. I mean,
I've heard that before. George is also on the line. Hi, George. Good morning and welcome. Hello, George. Hi, George. Hi, George. Good morning.
Good morning, David. How are you?
Well, George, let's hear you, sir.
David, I'm very sad. Since this, issue arose, concerning our brothers with kidney problems. David, politicians open accounts and they ask for not much, but 1 cedi. David, if we find an account so that every Ghanaian will contribute even 1 cedi a month, it can help these our brothers and sisters. So, David, let us do something about it, because our leaders, they do not care. Even to give them tax exemptions for this, imports, they have, put taxes on them. That means our leaders do not care about us. So we should do something to help ourselves. So even 1 cedi, let's open accounts so that we contribute. Every Ghanaian should contribute 1 cedi a month. David, it will go a long way to help our brothers and sisters. Thank you, David.
Thank you very much, George. Enjoy your Friday and, of course, your weekend. Patrick is our final caller. Hi, sir. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Dave. Dave, I want to know if I can be helped. I want to know the cost of the dialysis machine, because I don't think one dialysis machine can buy 10 V8. but we have more than 400 VH for ministers and other people.
How much does dialysis machine cost?
So
he's doing some comparative analysis. They have V8. I showed a video on our WhatsApp page, our platform. Nanado went to the Eastern region somewhere, driving on a bad road. We counted about 56 V8s.
Okay. Let's move on. So our leaders are not ready to help us. I think at this stage, what we have to do is to have education on this kidney, because it killed my sister. Dialysis, even if it is 150 Ghana cedis, it is very expensive, because in a week, if you are at the end stage, in a week you go for about 3 times. And even when you go, the pains you pass through, when they come, the pains they pass through, and eventually you die. If you are on dialysis in Ghana, I'm telling you, the doctors know, and they will advise you to make a will if you don't have one. It's a stage I just said to mafo na your will to.
Well, I hear you, Patrick. Thank you very much, and condolences to you. You say you lost your sister to kidney issues some time ago, and I've heard that indeed is painful, very painful. So Doc, you've heard him. He wants to know how much a dialysis machine costs, and he says he's comparing it to a V8 cost.
Of course, I mean it's nowhere near the cost of. I'm sure the tie of a V8, or I don't know what, but I don't even know the cost of the V8. But I think again, it's priorities. I don't think it is such a far-fetched cost. I think if government decides that we want to do this, I mean, like they have decided to do some things, that sometimes
like
we cannot.
A cathedral.
Yes. Who? All right. All right. So I guess. I think we can do it. I think it's all priorities, and I think
that cathedral that we started that we could not finish. That 4 billion, 500 million, 400 million. So that 400 million, for example, how many dialysis machines can you buy and spread it across the regions in the country? That's
and get the consumables available, train more people.
How many V8s do they have? Fueled by the taxpayer, bought by the taxpayers, This country now,
but I think one thing David, I need to say is that, government should see health as an investment. If we don't see health as an investment, it becomes a problem. If we see it as just a cost, then no. But mind you, in Ghana, the average age, as per the last study that we did, of people with kidney failure is 47 years. This is the working group. These are people who, if you are able to give them the health that they desire, they'll be able to work and pay taxes back to you.
Yeah.
So if we don't see health as an investment and we just see it as a cost, then that becomes a problem. So it is important that we realize health is an investment. If you invest in it, the people will pay taxes, they'll be able to work, they would employ people, and of course, be able to help generally. So I think that is key. Right. And I think government needs to do more.
You still haven't answered my question because I haven't allowed you to. What we can do to protect the kidneys and let it work well for us and all that. But let's go into our WhatsApp console. What are people saying there, Lou Sterling?
Good morning, David, and good morning to your listeners, all listeners. This is Kojo from Bomso. David, I think that most times with your program, sometimes they are quite disjointed. One gentleman came in. It seems he had come up with a kidney machine, which was cheaper, and if you're on dialysis, it could help, and you wouldn't be paying up to 6,000 a month. So probably it's time for you to when you have doctors like this come in, why don't they liaise with such people so that kidney treatments can be a lot cheaper?
I hear you. Yes, I think I got in touch with somebody who has built a dialysis machine locally. Question again is, have we given it the necessary attention, the support? Look into it and say, okay, is it viable? Can we do more of it? What components, ought to be improved and all that? But Ghana, the way to V8 Cathedral. Leo, please, back to you, sir.
So from Felix Obin, he says, in fact, we must be so grateful to God as we are kicking and having our kidneys intact.
Indeed.
I'm even scared of all these from the doctor. Thank you, God Almighty, for life.
I said that, and that is from Facebook, a comment from Facebook.
Yes.
Thank God for life. God is doing the dialysis work for you for free.
And Eric Asante says, fantastic education. God bless you all. Please, may I know what positive lifestyle should humans adopt to keep the kidneys
He's
healthy?
about to share that with us.
And Daniel Frimpong says, Dear David, health is expensive, and I believe that much education should be ongoing to help us stay better. In some organizations, we are meant to do medical exam from the beginning of the year, whilst others do not care about their staff at all. Those we put in power as well does not care about us. What then is our last resort? We need to educate the youth in their lifestyle. Now, smoking, drinking, hard drugs, and others are so easy to access. Let's keep the FDA up and doing their work rather than just approving anything on the market.
And you know, the way the message was started, Dear David, I said, love letter. Doc, please, over to you, sir.
Yeah, so thank you very much on the lifestyle. Yeah, so I started by saying that, one, we need to know where we are, what your status. And normally, the two is assess your risk factors. Okay, so how old are you? The older you become, the more the risk. And in Ghana, I've pegged it 40 and above. But that doesn't mean people less than 40 cannot get. So, of course, the older you are, then the risk is high. Do you have diabetes? Do you have hypertension? Most people don't even know these things. So check them. Okay, check them. Speak to your parents. Know what the family history is like. Have people been on dialysis in the family, for instance? Indeed. I mean, dialysis is now a new discussion. So most of my patients will say, our parents had some edema, so and so, but we probably, the feet were swollen, but we were not sure. And I sometimes can guess that maybe it was actually kidney disease and they didn't even know about it. So, but you need to ask. And then what can you do? So drink a lot of water, for starters. So you have seen that your kidney is healthy. You don't have all of these things I mentioned. If you do, make sure you are taking your medications. Make sure you are seeing your doctor regularly. And like I said, you can have diabetes, you can have hypertension, but your kidneys can last you your lifetime. Then what are we eating and how are we eating it and when are we eating it? All right. So we should make sure that our diet is actually more into fruits, vegetables. Like I'm sure most people know this. It's the doing it that is the problem. So let's not just know it, let's do it because it's all helpful. I mean, for your kidneys. Cut down on your salt intake. People love so much salt. Salt is equal to hypertension, basically. So the more salt you take, you increases your chance of hypertension. And like I said, then the hypertension can harm your kidneys. We've talked about the herbal medications. We've talked about the orthodox medications and the painkillers and all of that already. Let's avoid medications if we don't know what they are going to do to other organs as side effects. And please be careful when you hear that there are some medicines without side effects. I keep saying that when you are eating banana, for instance, I mean, we all don't shove the whole of the banana together with its peel in our mouth. Right? You peel it and you throw some away. So meaning that though the peel is natural, we don't chew it. So the fact that something is natural does not necessarily mean it's safe. So safeguard yourself and know it, because I've seen a lot of patients take some herbal medications and come with all sort of acute kidney injury and chronic kidney disease. So let's safeguard ourselves. And then the exercise. Let's exercise. I mean, we know there's a direct link also with obesity. So too much weight and all increases your chances of kidney disease. So I don't know why you are looking at him.
The stomach alone weighs about.
So it is not just fun. Life is good and all of that. Let's know that the kidneys are very small organs. They are about the size of your fist, basically. Now the point is, the bigger you become, then it has to strain itself to make sure that this whole big body is clean. All right, and that stresses it a bit and it gets tired.
You know, when you mentioned the intake of water and with the galamsey activities, what are the cry with the cyanide and all those chemicals? How safe is the water we're even drinking?
So that's of course another discussion. Again, the galamsey issue and the fact that yes, we might not be involved, but some water is trickling down to you downstream, which might have some mercury, which of course has some side effect or has complications on the kidney, of course, the liver and a few other organs. So
let's end why.
Yeah, so it is actually a terrible situation, but I think from the beginning I tried to also paint a very good picture of that, the fact that when you know it helps.
Yeah.
So let's not run away from knowing it. Let's check.
Give us a number we can call you on and speak to you.
Okay, so you can get to my office on 059 222 1728. 059 222 1728. So if you want to come check your kidneys, or if you want to know more about your kidneys, or even, and again, as we also have an NGO, we are more into education. You want us to come to your church or to your whatever to educate you on how to prevent kidney disease, I think we would also be available. And I have 2 books I probably should take advantage. Find them. All these things I'm telling you are in the book, which one of them was actually ably emceed by David here. So please find them and read. Simple language, very easy to read, and all the things I've mentioned are in the book. I mean, so thank you, David.
Where can we find the books?
So, so if you call the office line, you'll be able to get the books.
So it's again
059 222 1728. 059 222 1728.
Dr. Elliot Tano. I don't know. God bless. Well, in a bit, we'll be crossing over to Joy 99.7, where the conversation is going to be on tourism in Ghana. Stay with us.
Come with me. Bask in freedom. There are no deadlines here. Hurry so you can take your time. The sunset from above. A visual buffet. Pictures capture moment. 100 conversations don't exhaust the tale of your new favorite filter. The salt of the sea warm on your dark skin.
I love to come back here. A truly immersive experience is our reality. South Africa invites you to summer with us. Create your own story with customizable experiences now. Visit southafrica.net. It's never too late to summer in SA.
Wahese wako shop akodi dwa ahodo basket ma emu provisions ene nyoma ahodo ehia opa we delay musa edru so na ukotua nso a yaka kire wo se untimi nchante ye me chance na na so ya keke na mom o de Vodafone cash dia uni how cry yaka ko bia say dia untimi de Vodafone cash etua merchant bia or what network bia so straight direct sharp enti say water provisions fuel inro iniane me kire say bia o pese wo ye bia no Vodafone cash amana ye mremremra ma o ye hia o be ya de say o be dial star 110 hash netua ka ko merchant bia ho e wo network bia so Vodafone.
Bra na minya Royal Foam mattress no. How bebre na mikomu. Medam panosweni na atom. Na mechi kase so na me honam nyina ya meya. Na de kume kra ne se. Ya no nso beda aso ape. Na wagya me. Na minya Royal Foam mattress no. Pa kwesi da aso ape. E na oya me ho ade. Congratulations dear, me fa no kwa. Asedan koma Royal Foam. Quality mattress papa fi. Oji aware Royal Foam. What manane relaxation aye de. Anwoto so a wunya wo mu ne se. Royal Foam mattress aye papa. Eche ye, aye quilted mattress inti. Woda so a ama wona ye foam. Se woto mattress free Royal Foam a. Eche wo free pillows. Royal Foam aje abasobode e wo 12 Ghana Business and Financial Excellence Awards. Yet on quality duvets, curtains, beds, ne carpentry foams ahodo nyina bi. Hwehwe yen wo Royal Foam showrooms, any sales depots a wo Ghana fanan nyina. Fre 020-227-1000. Royal Foam, rest assured. Yes, DBS Industries has done it again. We have taken the lead by introducing the newest Colorlink Plus roofing sheets. It comes with 20-year warranty against fading.
Hold on a second. Did you say 20-year warranty against fading?
Yes. In addition, it has self-clean properties, meaning it has the ability to clean dirt that settles on it, making your roof look beautiful at all times.
This DBS offer is super cool.
Get your Colorlink Plus roofing sheet for your roof today. Look out for Colorlink imprint on our sheets. Locate DBS Limited in Kumasi on the Kumasi Accra Road at Adakwajachi opposite Kwamo Gwel filling station. Call our hotline on 050-600-4141 or 0543-286-637. Visit our other factories in Accra, Tamale and Takrady. DBS Industries, your roof experts.
Owning a home is an accomplishment. When it comes to choosing our preference of living, we are faced with a dilemma. Will you go for affordability, comfort, or luxury?
Well, we will help you choose your preferred home at a very affordable and convenient way at the 2023 edition of the Republic Bank Love FM Habitat Fair. The Republic Bank Love FM Habitat Fair is slated for Friday, 6th October to Sunday, 8th October 2023 at the Kumasi City Mall, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. each day.
This event is brought to you by your superstation, Love 99.5 FM, in partnership with Republic Bank.
There's never been a better time to own a home. Republic Bank slashes interest rates on all its CD mortgage products. Yes, switch and sign on to any of our CD mortgages. Enjoy ultra low interest rates and pay less to live in your dream home. Kule! Call 054 0109 649, 054 0109 901, or email myhome@republicghana.com. Offer is valid until 31st January 2024. Terms and conditions apply. Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
And powered by Airport City HDG Homes. Sponsored by...
Are you a breadwinner and worried about your family's future financial situation? Then allow yourself and your family to enjoy maximum peace of mind in the event of an unforeseen circumstances. What's more, in collaboration with Spectra Health Mutual Insurance Scheme, the Ultimate Protection Plus now offers you free imaging services such as ultrasound scan, CT scan, mammogram, X-ray, MRI, as well as discounted rate for medical interventional procedures and many more. Our sales team across the country is ready to help you take charge of your future today with the Star Life Ultimate Plus. You could call us on 0302 739 600 or WhatsApp us on 058 081 786. Star Life Ultimate Protection Plus. Protecting what you love.
And supported by
DBS Industries has done it again. We have taken the lead by introducing the newest Colorlink Plus roofing sheets. It comes with 20-year warranty against fading. It has the ability to clean dirt that settles on it, making your roof look beautiful at all times. Look out for Colorlink imprint on our sheets. Locate DBS Limited in Kumasi on the Kumasi Accra Road at Adakwajachi opposite Kwamo Guel filling station. Call our hotline on 050-600-4141. DBS Industries, your roof experts.
Lands and Home Consult is your one-stop shop for all things land acquisition, land registration, and residential construction. We have assisted our clients in the registration of over 2,000 leases, constructed and completed over 30 houses for our clients in the diaspora in the past 3 years. We are currently selling plots at Kwadaso, Achuma Trebom, and Ejoso. Lands and Home Consults have our luxurious but affordable 3-bedroom houses on course for completion by December 2024. Call us today on 03220-08282.
Experience the epitome of luxury living at Veronique Heights, where luxury living meets modern convenience nestled in the heart of Kumasi. Discover a range of exquisite 1 to 4 bedroom apartments meticulously designed to meet your every need. Each apartment boasts spacious interiors and high-end finishes. We have a delightful restaurant and bar with a perfect ambience, state-of-the-art body fitness center, a swimming pool where you can unwind and soak up the sun. Veronique Heights is strategically located in Denyami, Kumasi, making it easily accessible from all corners of the city. Give us a call at 020-9777-138. You can as well visit our website www.veroniqueheights.com. Kennedy Digital Satellite. He will offer promotions on air conditioning 1.5 horsepower, deep freezers from 500 liters to 900 liters, TVs 50 inches up to 75 inches, fufu machines, popcorn machines, sewing machines, gas cookers, microwaves, kettles, blenders, iron, stabilizers, and all kinds of decoders. All government workers under the Controller and Accountant General's Department can also visit our showrooms for a suitable payment plan for items purchased monthly. Locate us here in Kumasi, Family Plaza Building, first floor at Sedum, Patasi Adom House Building, first floor Kennedy Junction, or call us on 0244-385-128.
I heard it's because of New Generation Investment Services. They took care of his pension funds. I hear they also started the NGISM fund, which allows them to grow their investment and create wealth. They also have the Ingasol Mutual Fund, which I intend to sign on so I can sow today and reap tomorrow.
Don't be left out.
Visit us today at the first floor, Kokobo Jubilee House at Doom Kumasi, and the first floor of the first story building behind National Investment Bank, Sunyani, or visit www.ngis-group.com.
New Generation Investment Services, achieving excellent returns
returns on your investment.
Kumasi just gets served by Ancora Homes Gated Community here at IPT Junction, Suyabwa. Uniquely designed 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom home. Ancora Homes, designed to impress.